Greetings, it is I, Cantus Naraman Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my discussion of the lands, legends, planes, and planeswalkers of Magic the Gathering, where I take each of these elements of the world settings of Magic the Gathering, introduce you to them, give you a little bit of history, a little bit of information to you, helping you understand a little bit more about the lore of Magic the Gathering and the setting that this card game is establishing. Today I have another plane for you, Zendikar. A powerful mana-rich plane, where these powerful sources of mana flow in unusual ways different than any other plane in the multiverse. It is currently recovering from the attacks of the Eldrazi, which was explained in 2 blocks, 5 sets. Now it is known for its mana-rich nature, but also many ancient ruins holding wonders, treasures, artifacts of incredible magical power. All of these things combined attract many planeswalkers to visit Zendikar. But also from the native population, you get many adventurers and explorers who are willing to check out these ancient, unusual places. The landscape of Zendikar is constantly shifting and changing in a process known as the Royal. This makes settlements very rare and civilization even rarer. The fact is, it's just really hard to establish things here. The other interesting defining feature of Zendikar is these massive structures, these massive polyhedron structures known as hedrons. These things can be up to 10 miles long, and they could be floating in the air, they could be buried in the earth, they could be broken, they could be whole. All is known about them is that they have mysterious effects on in gravity itself, and almost seem to defy it, and mysterious energies and abilities about them that make them far beyond anything anyone normally would understand. Zendikar itself is filled with countless ruins of ancient civilizations, mysterious glyphs, monsters of unspeakable horror, all aspects that lead adventurers and those people that seek the power hidden within these places to go and explore and discover them. Now, the plane is inhabited by a number of races. Goblins, elves, merfolks, humans, vampires, and of course the core, a race that has appeared in other locations, other planes, but appears to be a native of Zendikar that have been kidnapped from here in other ways and sent to these other locations. There are of course other lesser races, creatures of various sizes and shapes, all kinds of wildlife of any imaginable type that may threaten explorers along the way. Prior to the Eldrazi imprisonment, there were civilizations on all 7 continents of Zendikar, and each of them worshipped a myriad of gods. The problem was, with this level of god worship to the Eldrazi titans themselves, there's oftentimes confusion in their own history of Zendikar to see where the Eldrazi worship, which again, until they actually were awakened, were assumed to be gods themselves, and the actual ancient gods separates. Now, this plane is a prison to the Eldrazi, strange, extraplanar creatures that are a plague upon the multiverse, destroying and ravaging planes as they go. A trifecta of planeswalkers, Sorin Margov, Ugin the dragon, and Nihir, a core planeswalker, united together and managed to seal the Eldrazi in Zendikar. This time now, with the prison breaking and opening up, Sorin Markov seeks to seal them yet again. At this point, he managed to find Nissa Ravain, an elven planeswalker that is native to Zendikar as an ally that would assist him in once again resealing the Eldrazi. She, though, hopes that they could seal them somewhere else, not on Zendikar. Now, many planeswalkers have visited the plane or have connections to the plane itself. It can be seen in their own histories, but the sheer fact is, in the first set of Zendikar, the first block, we saw the visit of Sarkhan Vol, Chandra Nalaar, and Jace Balern at the Eye of Ugin as the focal point of this time of freeing the Eldrazi. That these 3 being in that location has resulted in the Eldrazi getting free. Now, this isn't the only time the Eldrazi got broke out of their prison, so to say. 1,000 years ago, they did manage through weakened bonds to begin to escape, and they were ravaging Zendikar itself, destroying much of it. The humanoids had no chance to face against them. It took the return of those 3 planeswalkers to seal them away and to ensure that the Hedrons were better in place and there would not be problems once again. This recent time, though, we can see that the plane itself fights against these new drones. The Royal adapts to it, causing damage to these drones as they attack. Many humanoids have been infused with mana from the very plane itself, giving them new abilities to fight against these creatures that are coming to destroy the land. But it's a seemingly impossible task. Hordes of these creatures against so few. Between the first block and the second block of cards, 2 years takes place. 2 years of history. Many losses occur to the Zendikar, to the people of the land. Entire continents, Bala Ged, Sigiri, are wiped out, reduced to nothing but waste. Many places have been lost, cities, civilization. The Zendikar people are on the run, they are crushed, but they are not defeated. They still fight back. Gideon Jura, the Planeswalker, arrives and begins to unite an army of the remaining forces of Zendikar, uniting all the races together. We see that not only are the classic races united together, the vampires, royal mages, and even the merfolk under Koira, the Planeswalker, and her giant sea creatures unite into this powerful allied force. They retake the settlement of Seagate, one of the key locations of civilization within Zendikar that had fallen to the Eldrazi. This force unites and takes it. But they learn that the last titan that is known to be where their location is, the last titans whose location is known, Ulamog, is approaching. This is when Jace Beleren and Nissa Ravain show up. They come up with a plan. Since Ulamog is the only one they know about, they're not sure if Kozilek and Emrakul have remained on the plane or have escaped. But they know where Ulamog is. They plan to use the Hedrons within Seagate and seal him. As the allied forces under Gideon hold off the hordes of Eldrazi, basically harboring in Ulamog's arrival, they manage to successfully seal Ulamog. Then Ob Nixilis, the demon, shows up. He manipulates the Hedrons and uses it to reawaken his Planeswalker spark. The demon, once mortal, once Planeswalker, now is Planeswalker again. He destroys the Hedrons, freeing Ulamog, and with this awakens Kozilek from a sort of slumber deep within the plane. The allied forces suffer defeats and losses, but under General Taziri, they managed to stay together and continue the fight, with the Planeswalkers seemingly disappeared. It turns out Ob Nixilis had captured all of them and was tormenting them. Chandra Nalaar shows up, rescues them, and drives Ob Nixilis from Zendikar, vowing revenge. These 4 can see that together they are powerful, more powerful than any force in the multiverse. At least they feel they are. With this, they can do anything, and they form the Gatewatch. Now, Jace decides he has to break a promise he had made to Ugin the Spirit Dragon. He would kill these 2 titans. They would find a way. They decided they were going to bind them to the plane of Zendikar. Physically bind them, that now their physical bodies are stuck here. They no longer will be truly creature of the blind eternities, the space between the planes. They use the army, led by Gideon once again, to lure them in. They are successful. And they successfully bind the 2 to Zendikar. But in the process, they begin to absorb Zendikar into their very being, changing the very essence of the land. Koira, who had joined with them once again, resists this, tells them to stop, fearing that the plane would be lost. But Jace does not falter and continues to push it. but it seems like all is going to be lost. With the land assimilated, what could they do? Chandra comes up with a crazy plan. She's a master pyromancer. She has Nissa tap into the ley lines, the mana energy, the flow of mana across Zendikar, and channel the ley lines through Chandra. She gains more power than she ever imagined, and using it uses fire far beyond what she could normally produce, and burns 2 titans to ash. Gone. Dead. So, Zendikar now recovers. Tazir leads this recovery, rebuilding of civilization in a Zendikar more united. So, that is it for today. Zendikar. A plane that was used as a prison. Nahiri sort of resisted this, but saw an opportunity to save the multiverse by imprisoning the Eldrazi in her home plane. And Ugin and Sorin were all willing to sacrifice one plane for it. It has faced the dangers of the Eldrazi. Those ruins, those ancient ruins that scattered the land, were caused by the Eldrazi, destroying the civilizations which had once been Zendikar, which we may never know about because of that great destruction. Zendikar itself, then, faced it. For so long they fought against them, finally to have them defeated with the help of those Planeswalkers. 5 Planeswalkers technically helped. Koira, she lost her time to shine, and I've talked about her before, but the other 4 formed the Gatewatch. And now, Zendikar rebuilds, with groups drawn together through adversity. The races that once had been at odds with each other, or not been friendly to each other, are now united in a way that probably would have never occurred. They're united to rebuild their plane from what has happened. And this is not to say the threat of the Eldrazi is gone. With the Titans gone, the true source of them is gone. But many Eldrazi horrors still lurk in places within the plane, continuing their work. So the threat is not completely gone, but it is gone mostly. Zendikar can recover, and those that remain are of a strength to have it recover. They will continue the fight until every last Eldrazi is finally gone, and together they will rebuild their plane stronger than it ever has been before, through an adversity that no other plane may have quite faced. Destruction. Things turned on end. But to be wiped to nothing but dust, well, very few have faced a fate like that. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's just for the channel, the empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you can always check out my Patreon, link description below. There's some great rewards there. It helps to grow and improve the channel. If you want to show you some other great Magic the Gathering content, I can recommend my Friends of the Multiverse, Card Bazaar, They Said We Said, and Tasty Snackies. Great people that make some excellent Magic the Gathering content. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.